Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video on Victoria 3 as we continue to expand our little Japanese empire. So if you remember, over the last two videos things have been going reasonably well. We've been trying to build up our base economy. We've kind of spent most of our time just sort of chasing around kind of core resources. We've tried to sort of get things a little bit more built up. We tackled in the last episode some of our real core sort of political problems that we were facing in terms of getting through some proper trade laws and also some colonial resettlement rights, which we're now taking advantage of to kind of push into some northern parts of Japan and up here as well to claim these two islands, which is really nice for us to see. Then following this, we need to continue to try and build up our economy, and then I think we should be starting to look at, one, trying to get our taxation on the up so we can start to afford some proper military strength, start to get those line infantry involved, and then hopefully we can start to throw a little bit of our weight around just a little bit more. But anyway, let's carry on. We've still got a hell of a building queue to get through. We are starting to try and to get railways established a little bit, but we've got quite a coal shortage, and we're just getting our motor industries up online as well, which is kind of nice. This is just going to... Oh, it only uses steel, look, to produce the train engines, which isn't too bad. That'll kind of be handy. Obviously, the market price is obviously completely bottomed out at the moment, just because... we get a 30% throughput bonus there, which is nice. Just because we currently haven't got any railways online, but once the first ones start to come through, which should be happening in the next 14 weeks, then they're going to take demands from the engines. Yeah, I'm happy to go into a trade agreement with Spain. We've got quite an abundance of influence, and I probably need the bureaucracy a little bit more. Have we got anything we want to check about on the exports? We have got a spare bit of iron. We could see if we can export to anyone. Yeah, British will take a little bit of extra iron. I'll send that over their way. Nice. All helps sort of get rid of it, keep the price up, bumps the GDP up, and of course provides us with a little bit of extra tariffs as well along the way, which is always nice. Iron exports are no longer productive. We may end up having to cancel that trade route slightly soon. We're getting some high tensions between these areas that we're colonizing. Understandable, because we're basically just nicking their land. So not thrilled about it. A couple of areas with low market access, but they should actually be solved once we get our train stations built. Our goldfields are growing quite a lot over here, which is nice as well. Oh, Cannery's technology research coming through. Everything happening at once, which is nice. That's giving us actually quite a chunk of extra money, which is kind of nice to see because it's bumping our minting up. Yeah, really want this tech to come through though to get the central archives. One for the base taxation increase, but it also unlocks the standardized filing system, which will give us quite a bit more bureaucracy, but also it will give us quite a bit more taxation capacity across the empire, across Japan, which is really actually what we quite badly need. I was also going to have a look, like, some of these must be decentralized powers, they are. What region do these classify themselves in from a diplomatic point? I have got a declared interest in Oceania. Cannot... oh, no, we haven't got a... Maybe let's get rid of Indochina and instead declare an interest in Oceania. I think that would make a lot more sense, because then we can start to... What are the British doing here? Oh, army reserves unlocked. Why have the British got West Micronesia? Don't they keep stealing my future land? There'll be a conflict in the making at some point. Anyway, annoyed at the British aside, we are slowly growing our colonies overseas, which is kind of nice. I don't know if we know if they've got access to any specifically useful resources. Currently fairly limited amount of arable land. Have got a port going to set up there just so it's connected into the Japanese market. Over here... Oh, we have goldfields there as well. So goldfields are making up a significant part of my minting then now. Yeah. On Hokkaido Island. Because we've got goldfields over there and the goldfields over here growing as well. Oh, as we're probably taking them over. Oh, nice. Really are getting quite a bit of gold. Hopefully the gold doesn't ever run out. I don't know if that's actually the case or not. Quite a few people working there, obviously making them quite a lot wealthier. And these people over here now got quite a decent standard of living as it's kind of cropping up. And it's also causing obviously quite a bit of migration as well. Obviously because everyone wants to live there because there's loads of gold. Anyway, how are we plodding through our construction? It looks like we must have our first railway online, which actually is over here, which it is. So that's put our infrastructure up down there, which should have increased the demand. Yeah, it needs coal and engines. So that should mean our motor industries, yeah, are now starting to come through. Actually, it doesn't need to run at full capacity really then, until the second railway comes online. What's our coal situation like? I suspect that's probably what we're going to be shortest on. It is really. Got a couple of coal mines, got 4 levels of coal mine queued up though. Got to smash through some tobacco plantations first though, because we're a little bit short on that as well. Anyway, other than that, let's continue to grow our markets, continue to look through. Hopefully we're trying to sort of get radicalisation down a little bit. Have got more policies I would kind of like to push through. Traditionalism would be a nice one to get rid of because it is costing us 25% taxation capacity. What we would like to go on to, I don't really know. Interventionism? Probably wouldn't necessarily be a bad one to head for. Can subsidise buildings. Funds in the investment pool can be used to build. Idea requires one of the following. It might not be possible because you must not have serfdom enacted. So we need to get rid of serfdom then, essentially. Which is actually going to increase a lot of the people who are deeply unhappy, but then it's going to cause unhappiness amongst the shogunate and the samurai, who are quite large groups. And that's kind of the problem. It's my kind of biggest risk. I think it might be worth it. Let's abolish it. See how much happiness that's caused. It might lower radicalisation in the short term. Crikey. A lot of people unhappy with a lot of these changes there going on. Oh, an accident at the dye works. Several workers... Wow. It's a terrible pun. At the dye works and a tub overturned. We all should die sooner or later. Should not have died in vain. Oh, Christ. Well, let's support the trade unionists a little bit. So hopefully, if we go back to our governmental overview, so the shogunate are now a little bit unhappy because of the law change. But it should have brought the peasants almost back on side because they like the change. The samurai are obviously happy, but they're a fairly minor group, to be honest. I don't think it should cause us too much problems. Anyway, we can get that through. Then we can think about doing a proper economic policy, which hopefully deals with some of our taxation problems, and that will really bring our monetary sort of policy back in line a lot more. Anyway, that's kind of the hope. So we've got the ports going through there. Our tobacco industry should have picked up quite a lot because we've got quite a few tobacco plantations there. She's now fully employed. I think I would have thought that would have brought tobacco in line with the sort of quantities we need. No, it's opium. Tobacco. Anyone see it? I've lost it. It's probably a luxury good. Ah, here it is down here. I'm actually still short. Just on homegrown consumption. Crikey. So we actually need more tobacco production to ramp it up. I suppose it's putting our throughput up, which isn't a bad thing. Anyway, still got almost a year's worth of construction to go on. We've got a port being built over here to connect our colony up, which is kind of worthwhile having. And then we can look at it a little bit more, I think. As that comes on through. We also need to get these coal mines up. It's kind of been a bit of a problem for us because we're on quite a coal shortage. I think the railway station got built here as well. 31, that should be about right. How many trains does each railway station use? Only 10. It's quite cheap to run these railway stations at the moment then, because they only use 10. We can, of course, then use some of the things like those transportations to kind of knock things back. Like, you can then do, on that one, on something like an iron mine. I think you can then do, yeah, rail transportation, which reduces the sort of number of labourers you actually require. But in this case, we're not really short on population, so I don't think it's really worth it. I don't think it's something we really need to worry about. What else do we have down here? Rice farms, tobacco, silk live cotton. Ooh, we need to export any of that though. That's kind of the problem. What are we producing a surplus of? Still a bit of grain, gold, but you don't really trade that. Bit of extra lead. Exposed fish. Nothing really in insane quantities, is there? I don't think there's anything that we're really desperate to export. Okay, a bit of silk can potentially go out. But again, that's just going to force the price up for us internally, really, isn't it? It isn't necessarily going to help us drastically. We need to get more production on. I think that's what we need to do. Are the radicalizations still lowering down? It is for now. It is for now. Oh, a little bit more territory about to be claimed. Yay! It's now included in. And our gold fields increase as well. Which is always nice. Getting quite a lot of money from all this minting now that we're doing with the gold. Which is pretty nice. And we're expanding over here as well. Well, that port. Large numbers of ham people have been migrating to the state. Right, interesting. Does that have any bearing on me? I don't think we have any large ham population, do we? No, 18,000 people out of a total of 32.7 million. So not a massive problem for me, if I'm honest. Okay, so we're getting there's a bit of support coming around for sort of preserving serfdom. Which is exactly what we want. We need to try and keep that under control. I suppose you always do cause a bit of unrest whenever you're trying to kind of cause all this turmoil. Trade routes need convoys. Unproductive trade routes. Oh, we actually need having a bit of a convoy shortage then, are we? Well, it says we're about neutral, but I suspect that means that we are having a little bit of a convoy shortage. Yeah, I'll build a couple of ports over there. Again, they're just going to go in the queue because they're kind of still stuck behind the coal mines because we're mostly short on that initially as well. I'm just so pleased for this central archive technology to come through. Give me more tax income. This might make us actually profitable for the first time. I don't know why our tax has dropped off so much there. Is that just because of attempted change in serfdom or something? Oh, because we probably lost some of the policies. Shogunate was 20% influence. Well, it does actually cause agriculture tax income. I think they maybe, because we kind of fell out with them, I think that's why we've lost some of our taxation. But hopefully, as this technology comes through, that is going to make a difference. Only 8 weeks left to go, and then we should have that unlocked, which will kind of make things a little bit more nicer. Have a little bit of a quick tab overview. How else is the rest of the world getting on? Prussia is slowly doing their traditional expansion. I suppose a lot of Africa down here is still very much unclaimed. Well, Brazil is basically in its traditional shape. Oh, a little bit of Mexico has been doing a bit of expansion. Looks like there's a war going on then, is there? Wow. Looks like the Americans and the Mexicans are at war with each other. Coal mine progressing. Building queue going on through, which is not a bad thing. 67 days still to get more convoys established. Convoys? Colonies, even, would be the correct word. Ooh, a bit of an industrial boom. Ah, nice. Always nice when you get a little bit of an industrial boom. Puts our capacity up. And there we go. So that's a real important one. Yes, look how much that did to our taxation. Immediately bumped us up quite significantly. So income tax increased. Poll taxes have increased from like 18 to 20k. Yeah. Got the jump. That's just because of our limited taxation capacity, which is still way, way down. So the next thing we're going to do here then is immediately go into our buildings. And then we're going to go to urban. Find our government administration. This is going to cost us quite a bit in... It's going to be quite a lot of extra bureaucracy. Quite a bit extra in paper. Oh. The paper costs are obviously higher than the tax income. Huh. Wow. Paper costs have gone biblical. Okay. We've caused a paper crisis. Okay, that wasn't quite what I had expected to happen, I must admit. Did you see that coming? I thought that was going to give us more taxation, not a paper crisis. God damn it. Well, let's start going down here. Actually, 10% extra minting would be helpful. Right. Where's our paper mills? What have we done? What has happened here? Paper mills, paper mills. Oh, we can actually do sulfite pulping. We don't have any sulfur though, do we? Let's set up some sulfur mines then. How much is my queue? Not too bad. So, next question. Where's the sulfur mine going to go? How many people live in these different areas? Let's set the sulfur mine up over here. Get that built. Get the sulfur mine built. Use that to try and increase paper production. Let's drive down the price of paper. I hadn't realised paper was such an influential factor. 27.5 grand on paper. I mean, Christ almighty. I had no idea paper was such a commodity. We really need to be driving the price of paper down significantly then. Well, let's get through this coal mine, get through the next bits, and then we can start to do that. We're obviously going to lose quite a bit of money in the meantime, but what can you do? I just had no idea. No longer producing. It's going to put us into a positive on the iron front again. I just had no idea paper was so expensive. It's just kind of crazy. We're getting too much iron again, so we need to try and export some. Iron. To the Dutch. It's the only people who we can get rid of it on here. Wow. I could look at the balance graph. It's so shocked. It actually went off the page. Oh my god. Didn't realise I was causing myself so many problems. We are still a bit short on port capacity, so we need to get through that really still. But anyway, wow. Wasn't expecting that to be such a problem. Goldfield's still plodding along. Actually started to secure quite a lot of the Northern Islands now. Really starting to bring this all in line. Hopefully within a couple of years, we should actually have this sort of fully colonised, which will be nice. Oh, got lost, ended up in the Philippines. Come on, work through these ports. Yes, we all know we've got ports. Let's go for a wee bit of 5-speed. Hopefully the OBS can actually deal with it. Let's just smash this through. I don't think there's anything particularly interesting going on. The chance of getting serfdom through is fairly negligible. We are still creating quite a bit of radicalisation. I'm going to be a bit careful of that. The peasants are at least no longer directly unhappy. Yeah, the samurai are pretty unhappy. Hawaii wishes to enter. No. I don't. Where is Hawaii? There's Hawaii. Are you actually owned by anyone? I'll happily invade Hawaii, but I don't plan to form an alliance with them. I am a global power. Well, the 15th ranked and the 9th ranked economically. Prussia's pulling away from us again, annoyingly. I just can't believe that paper. There we go. First sulfur mines are starting to come online. 18 weeks to go, and then we should have them. How ridiculous. I can't quite believe that. I was not quite expecting that to happen. What are we most... Oh my god, our clothes deficit is accelerating away from us at rapid proportions. Worryingly, our annualised population growth is starting to slump a little bit, which isn't what we want. So let's get the paper situation under control, and then I think we can start rapidly increasing our clothes production. Because it doesn't actually produce that much more per time. And yeah, it's costing quite a lot. It costs quite a lot of infrastructure, actually, all the ones you end up building. Are we still positive on linen? Cloth. Slightly negative, and slightly negative on silk as well. When's this first sulfur mine going to be built? 11 weeks. 11 weeks to go. Let's have a little bit of speed. Speed! Why is this getting so much negativity? So, minus 10% from failed debates. It's because these shogun are so powerful, which is kind of annoying. Well, nothing we can do about that. Nothing we can do. Let's just get this self-mine online. Nice default. The port is fully employed now down in here. Which is using that base, providing as much more convoys and infrastructure down here as well, which is nice to have because that's this pot here, which is as we're increasing things, it's getting more. So look, 68% of our taxation is lost on this province because of poor economic policy, excessive paper costs, and other things, which is never ideal. Christ, is my sulfur mine online yet? Build! Build, you bastard, build! There we go, finally. How much is this going to produce compared to how much I actually need? Is the next question. Yeah, definitely prepared to spend some coal and tools to get you online quicker. What's the coal situation like? Did we actually manage to get that balanced out in the end? No, it's still a little bit down, isn't it? Actually, we're also slightly down, amazingly, on tools. Although it looks like we're actually exporting some tools. Who are they going to? Hawaii is importing tools from us. Interesting, interesting. Okay, well, let's just get this sulfur mine. Oh, it's not going to get online until there's actually a demand for it, is there? So let's just do it. It was, what am I doing? Paper mills. Go to sulfite to make 210 more paper. And then let's have a look where the main paper mills actually are. The biggest one is just in Kyoto in the capital. So let's just do it. I mean, let's just make a metric boatload of paper. Make more paper than you could possibly ever conceive. It's just, yeah, let's just make a lot of paper. Just drive down the cost of paper because it's getting ridiculous. There we go, we've driven it down a lot. It's brought our money back into a more reasonable level just doing that. It's still expensive though. Is it still... Deficit is still 22% over cost, yeah. Lawmakers found some complex bureaucratic proceedings. Okay, it's minus 5%. 5% of the broken Kansai. Oh, it's worth the risk. Let's just try and cut through some of this stuff. Russia has got... No! How dare you? It's my bit of land. What? I'm so outraged. How dare they? No, you're not allowed to do that. And don't grow it quicker. It's claiming Japanese shogunate. It's my bit of land. What happens? I don't even know what happens. How does this even work? We have all the mainland here now, which is nice. All our gold mines. I don't even know how that works. That's just like completely screwed me, hasn't it? Unless we can sort of build quicker and block them in, but it doesn't seem to really be happening. I think we don't really have all that much input on our colonial overseas affairs. And we don't actually have enough to do it. We can start to upgrade to colonial growth affairs level 2. We can actually do police state level 2 as well, which lowers state turmoil penalties. But I don't really want to increase the shogunate's power, considering they're the ones that are currently opposing me on enacting this stuff. Anyway, what's going on in our building queue? So are we onto our paper mills? We are. Let's just really drive down the price of paper. I mean, maybe 5 is slightly too many. Let's do an extra 3 or something. Oh, we unlocked something else. Napoleonic warfare, was that? Nice. What does that do? Mobile artillery, field works, line infantry. Nice. Something else we need to build actually at some point is an arms industry, because as we want to move from a regular infantry to kind of like a slightly more professional army, that's something else that we're going to have to be dealing with as well. But there's always something else we've got to deal with. Oh, central archives triggers the event filing cabinets. That could improve our overall efficiency. 1.1%. Why is it so hard to enact serfdom? This Russia. Why is the Russian thing growing so much quicker than mine? I'm going to end up with split states here, aren't we? That's really annoying. Ah, I thought that was all guaranteed to be my bit of land. I'm quite annoyed about that. Anyway, with our building queue running low, we can, in the meantime... Oh, Christ. Someone's launched a native uprising against me. Right. So what does this mean for us? What can they actually launch? So where's our army? We actually need to promote one of these, don't we? Because we've got actually extra spare battalions, I think. Yeah, that gives them up to 60. And 52, there we go. So you're going to have to mobilise and advance to the front. Oh, no front options available. Okay, we're just in the opening moves. Hopefully no one goes and joins the bloody rebels. That would be most annoying. They've got a GDP of 5,900 compared to our GDP of over 30 million. Okay, so can we now mobilise to the front? No, they've not considered any front line available yet, I don't suppose. Now, are these likely to sway anyone? I mean, that would be annoying. If, you know, if Russia goes and intervenes, my hatred for Russia will really know no bounds. I don't think any of these people will. You never quite know, do you? They only have one battalion. We've got a bureaucratic shortfall coming in. Well, he can't advance to the front because there is no front line yet. This is costing me quite a lot of money just to mobilise all these people, isn't it? Seem to favour the industries. I wonder if I do that, that'll appease them slightly more. Because the samurai are some other groups that's kind of unhappy. Yeah, it just appease them slightly. They still predominantly hate me, but at least slightly less now. Because the amount of radicals we've got currently in our country is getting a little bit ridiculous. So as long as no one joins these people, we should be fine. Mobilising, well, almost like a... Oh, phew! China declared themselves to be neutral. I thought China was just about to join in. That would have been absolutely me right screwed. Still suffering from our... Who's down here? Oh, you need to have a railway built then if you're short on capacity. These guys still aren't running flat out. They can actually build quite a few more engines still. Oh! Oh no. Our enemy Great Britain became... Why the enemy? Don't join the enemy. I mean, no wonder they're worried. I'm slightly concerned myself. I hope Great Britain's still on the fence currently, but anyway, medical degrees. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. If this war's going to break out. Oh, Great Britain declared neutrality. Okay. Phew. As long as Russia doesn't get involved, then we should be good. But we're really on the real countdown to war now, so we should be on the final stages. I guess they're going to back down. I mean, if not, they're just going to get absolutely slaughtered, aren't they? Oh, okay, war's broken out. 2 arms. I don't think I quite need to mobilise everyone. I don't know what you do with them then. Normally you can I suppose they haven't actually got a single mobilised battalion at the moment. That's where they've got their HQ down over there. Just standing by at the Japan HQ. There's no one else there. Oh, we got our currency standards unlocked. That's nice. That should give us a little more minting money. Let's just work through this minting line down here. Do banking. Yeah, don't know. I don't know what's taking why they're not mobilising. Well, I can't really come to any sort of answers to really why. I guess it's just such dense jungle that you can't really move your armies over it. But they're not actually raising their army to fight me back. So it's kind of this weird impasse situation. But they seem to be decaying quicker than I am, so don't know. So I think we're just kind of in a situation where we just have to wait and see. I don't want to get involved in any other wars. Thank you very much. Got more than enough on my plate. So we're just going to kind of leave them to it, to be honest. Looks like the situation has finished out down here. Russia has managed to claim a little bit of it, but I got kind of most of it in between. Kind of slightly annoying. But here we go. Water boilers have been unlocked. Nice. In the meantime, we'll have to look back at our queue down here. GDP slowly still climbing up. I think one thing we really need to just improve on is our textile industry, really. So let's do 2 there. Somewhere I did see we have got, it might even be this area. There's cotton plantations there. Some down there. Some there. Where do we want to build our cotton plantations? Perhaps just in the actual same round area is not a bad thing to do. Let's do that, and that'll massively increase our fabric production, which should solve most of our short-term problems. We can actually also do a little bit of silk production at some point, perhaps tack one of them on the end as well. That might be in the same state, actually. It is. But we'll have one extra little bit of silk production as well. Nice. All looking good. They've still not raised their one division. So I don't really know. Don't quite know what to do there. Just leave them to it. If in doubt, let's just ignore them. We still hopefully did manage to drive the price of paper down in the end. Yeah. She managed to produce a slight paper surplus. Yeah. All in all, that didn't end up too badly, did it? I think the water boiler actually just... Yeah, tools and coal for decreased labour, but we're not really short on labour, so I'm not too worried about getting stuck into that really yet at the moment. They're slowly getting closer to accepting the peace deal, very slowly. Gold has been discovered in Victoria. That doesn't really help me in the short term. We're losing a lot of money, but I guess a lot of that is down to the current military situation, I'm kind of assuming. The income tax is way down from where we were. Oh no, it's not. It's poll tax. It was kind of there. So hopefully that's going to kind of balance itself out. And then technologically, we're trying to work through these things that are going to give us increased minting, which is kind of nice to have as well. Oh wow, that unlocks a bit of stuff, doesn't it? Maximum cash reserves. Oh, also kind of interesting. Anyway, a few interesting things going on there. So let's keep plodding through anyway. We're keeping on 4 speed, I think. We're about to knock ourselves up to 5 speed because that war's just got to get through. I suppose with those colonization efforts over down there, we could actually look to start to think about establishing a new colony somewhere else. Either East Micronesia. Probably wouldn't be a bad one. Let's leave them to do their thing for a while then. How long is that going to take? No, we don't get to see until the war's over. There's always something. God damn it. How did Mexico fare in the... Oh, they managed to lose Texas to the Americans. Mexicans having a bit of a hard time of it. Oh, Prussia is back at... Crikey, there's some war going on down there as well, isn't there? Where am I? down here. I'm not getting anywhere with this trying to force through this serfdom. Jeez, we're back to 0% again. I'm almost tempted to just abandon it. It's just too much trouble. Yeah, I have to do that. Because it's just causing so much radicalization trying to force this serfdom law through. But it's such a critical one because... Oh, it's such an important one, really. Debate, success, stall. Yeah, it's just not even... another half a year to the next checkpoint. And we're not really getting any closer, are we? Which is kind of frustrating because I feel like we should be. Can't deploy our armies until these people get fed up of this sort of pointless war that's not really going anywhere. Because they won't raise their one division. We could think about building some stuff on here, I suppose. I've got some coal mines, some whaling stations. Probably the whaling stations is it just produces oil, which no one really has any use for. So it's kind of hard to make really any good use of it to do anything with. They're actually trading a little bit of grain away now. Not getting a lot in tariffs, but then I suppose that's largely because we've got trade set up with other people. So trade agreements. I think once you get trade agreements set up, that actually basically removes tariffs essentially. So I think that's probably why that is. We've still got our inefficient taxation problems. I'm still kind of surprised that that caused me so much extra cost. Yeah, minus 25% from... You see this urban centre. Was it the urban centre? No, it was government administration, wasn't it? See, I can increase this. I could increase this, and it will increase the actual taxation capacity. But it's still going to be such a long way away. I'm not sure how helpful it is, really. It's 35,000 people employed, and it's just going to require more and more paper, isn't it? Oh, we'll then move from standard filing to switchboards. I could build a little bit more administration. Is it actually going to increase my income, or is it going to cost me more in management? Maybe we should be just looking at cutting the government wage. Say 3,000 a year. Is it that helpful, I suppose? I'm not entirely sure it is. Who knows? I just really want to get my serfdom law through as well, because that's kind of a big problem for us. Also got our little colonization going on. East Micronesia, which is very slowly growing. Is it just like actually the whole state is just the one tiny little island? Yeah, it has a population of 19,000 and a GDP of 8 grand. Where they produce a very small amount of grain. Which is not hugely useful, I don't suppose. I suppose one thing that we probably should build on it is a port. Because otherwise it's going to have no connection. Who's embargoing who? France is embargoing the UK. No, it's just ground to almost a complete halt now, isn't it? It's got so much negativity around it. Can I just abandon the attempt? Yeah, screw it. Wasn't worth it. It caused so many troubles. Saw so much radicalization. And so much unhappiness. I just don't know how we're going to deal with that. They're unhappy. Why are they unhappy? Because they oppose serfdom, and we probably actually just got rid of it. So then now they're unhappy. The peasants are still unhappy because I think they wanted to end serfdom. And now we haven't, so they don't like me. No one's particularly thrilled about the situation by the looks of it. Isolated in Micronesia. Yeah, understandable. And we've got an unproductive iron trade route. Can we force our war demands here yet? No, 69 still. Crikey. Still got quite a way to go then. What we're working through at the moment, some cotton plantations. Nice. Did we build up our textile mills first? Yes, we did. Now, has that solved our clothing shortage? No, not even close. Still way down. Which is kind of crazy, really, how much that actually ends up needing, isn't it? It is kind of frustrating. I can build another 2 on the textile mill, just keep ramping it up. But it just needs so many. It's quite a bit of urbanisation, I suppose, building all this stuff. I almost feel like we're going to end up with an excess. Oh no, we're still quite short on luxury clothes as well. Huh, fair enough. Also short on silk. Running out of dyes a little bit. But we have do we have an excess of linen now? Any more? No, short on fabric as well. God damn it. I'm definitely ready for this war to end. Let's just go on a little bit of 5 speed. Let's try and blast through this war. Oh, we're losing a bit of rank. But not really a lot we can do about that in the short term. Can see which areas are the most productive. We are slowly gaining up our GDP, I think. Should hopefully gain a little bit more money here from minting, which we do. We've got some more cotton plantations coming through, our silk plantations coming through. Then we're going to have a bit of a go at some of these government administrative buildings, which I've never tried building before. Oh, we can obviously do a new idea. 4 years for central planning, which will give us more minting income, which is obviously nice. A lot of that does obviously just come from our gold income. Let's just do that. We maybe need to have a slight period with no building, but just to try and stabilise our income slightly. Oh, I just spend so much on paper. But I mean, we've lowered the paper costs as much as we can. We're slightly creeping up again. Slightly. We could probably build another slight paper industry. Where do we build our sulfur mines? Down here. Oh dear, opium addiction is starting to spread. That's not exactly what you want, is it? Yeah, we're producing more than enough sulfur, so that's not a problem for us. Can we end this war yet? Give up. They're losing like basically 1 a day. Oh dear. Our GDP is stalling slightly. Not quite sure what we've done specifically. The first of these government administrations, so 7.2k. I mean, they'll get staffed. Yeah, see, I don't think it costs us more to run these administrations than we actually get from them. At least that's my feeling. It does increase our tax capacity quite a bit, but it also increases the paper demand. And paper is so goddamn expensive that it just ends up creeping up our overall costs. Any other problems majorly we're facing? No, not too much. Why are these not losing any more war support? That's worrying. So their war support is each 0, but it doesn't seem like it's going to drop any lower than that. I don't know what that particularly does for us. I mean, I think I might just do it. It was just white peace. Yeah. Does that mean we can continue colonising it? Is this part of Hokkaido? It says unpassable. Oh, that's the unpassable part. So if I go back to my colonial entries, if I go to my diplomatic lens, no valid targets. But you're a non-centralized state, aren't you? A decentralized nation. Weird. I don't quite get that. How that's. We've got our colony down here, which I. This is us, isn't it? Oh, that's done. That didn't take. It's going to take 21 years to incorporate East Micronesia. Oh, did we get the whole lot? Oh. Well, that's a bigger bit of colonization than I was expecting. What? Is that whole thing now mine? Oh. Well, that was more successful than I thought that was going to be. I still don't quite get why I can't colonize with no valid targets for colonization. Just does not want me to colonize that last little bit, does it? What else have we got? Solomon Islands, Tonga. Let's go for the Solomon Islands. I mean, they're traditionally Japanese, aren't they? Well, in terms of Second World War standards. Okay, we'll have the Japanese Solomon Islands. That'll be kind of interesting. We'll start to expand out a little bit of island hopping. Even if we can't quite have everything that we want, we'll do what we can. Yeah, I think our government administration definitely cost me more than we really wanted it to. We're in a pretty steep decline financially at the moment. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. Government wages are too high. Government goods are definitely too high. We can certainly build more paper mills, which we've got queued up, but I don't know. I feel like we're starting to get caught into a little bit of a death spiral. Oh, we're paying 16.2 grand a week in interest? No wonder my economy's in decline. Why the hell did that cost so much? Wow, what? The hell? What? Wow. No. Jeez, no wonder I'm making a loss. I'm going to be caught in like a death spiral there. What's that going to put our tax up to? I'm in shock. We could put a tax on grain, but we need more authority, which we don't have. I think we'll end up having to put the tax rate up. Let's get through this queue of building. That's quite shocking. I didn't realise that was going to cost us quite such a ridiculous amount in interest. Central Archives was completed successfully. Oh. I love bureaucracy. What does this actually do on identification documents, taxation capacity? Yeah, that I'd rather have that. Because of our taxation capacity problems. Does that change that technology's time to get there? Oh god, not really. It takes it from like 17 years to 16 years. So useful. Well, I just had no idea. No wonder I'm making a loss. I'm just paying absolutely loads in interest. Is there any way I can get anyone to take on my debt? Take on debt? Could someone take on my debt? I don't want to take on debt. Oh god, I've got a debt of 30 million. Rivalry, protectorate, improve relations. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit problematic. We are definitely going to have some bit of fiscal tightening, I think. That's an absolute shocker, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to recover from that. This actually could be really bad for us. Let's knock off one textile mill. Let's just get through and get the paper mill established. We're doing because that is going to help us in the sense that that's just keeping the cost of paper down, and that is a problem for us. It does need to be kind of dealt with. Other than that, once we've got that through, then let's just start to cut back on our building costs. And then I think we're going to have to ramp the tax rate up, which unfortunately is going to probably produce more radicals. Yeah, what else can we do? I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, throw an obligation if we. Yeah, I will agree to ally with the Koreans. Well, no wonder I'm kind of losing rank power. Which, yeah, can't believe it. Right, come on, let's get these last few bits built up then. Just get this textile mill through. What have we got on excess of? Is there anything I can actually sell? Not really got an excess of that much, to be honest. Iron, maybe. Can we export a little bit of iron to someone for some profitability? That's quite a lot of iron we're going to export to them. And we have a trade agreement with them. It doesn't even really help me. Hydraulic cranes, yeah. Not massively useful, if I'm honest. Alright, let's get our tax rate up. Goodness. And I think we're going to bring government wages down. They're not going to like it. But let's just get this deficit back under control as quickly as we can. How much are we in debt? Well, I suppose it is 3.2 million. Jesus Christ. Okay, well this isn't good. How goes the... Oh, is that done? Oh, there's the completely incorporated Japanese Solomon Islands. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these little sort of random little crappy places because they're not really got anything there. And they're not particularly useful for... Oh, well, I would have New Zealand. Let's do New South Wales then. Which probably wouldn't be the Japanese name for it, if I'm honest. Everyone's kind of grabbing everything now, I think. Oh. Oh no, that is. I'm just like perching on the end. Does that mean I've just grabbed like a tiny little bit of it and that's all my... What's going on there? Yeah, it makes a little bit more sense, I think. Let's get our colony set up down there. Right, crikey. I'm still losing money. How are we losing money? Build the paper mill. 2 weeks. Come on. 1 week. Okay, right. So we've got 11k and 16.4k in interest payments. There's prominent mentors that have been going. Luxurious parties. Okay, come more loyalist. Let's just get them to become more loyalist in general. A few extra loyalists is never a bad thing. Right, now let's just sort of stagger along with a little bit of stability for a while if we can. Crikey, that's, yeah, that's kind of a surprising note to self. Interest rates are quite high. Hadn't banked on that. This completely threw me. Glad we managed to get a few islands in. Didn't realise everyone else was colonising quite so much, so we've been a bit slow. Yeah, the British are coming through. I'm probably making a bit of an enemy of the British here, trying to colonise all this stuff right in front of their face. Anyway, I think we shall probably end the video there. That was certainly a bit of an interesting one. It kind of caught me a bit by surprise, the amount of debt we're in. Let's just start to get this capital amount down. It's starting to pay down already. Let's just suffer through it for a couple of years, get it down, and then we can hopefully have a slightly more balanced economy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for lots more Victoria 3. Thanks for watching, guys. See you all on the next one.